Hey everyone in YouTube land, it's Tina here again. I thought I'd make a video today talking about helpful things with coping with infertility. One of the things I wanted to talk today about is how to make your life easier when dealing with infertility. We have been dealing with infertility for 3 years, and some helpful advice for things like that. One of the most difficult things that I found at the beginning was the comments from people with, you guys have been married for ages, when are you having children? And I realise now that people didn't mean to hurt my feelings, but it was. So one of the things we chose to do, which I know other people don't do this, I know a lot of people have kept their infertility to themselves, but we decided to be quite open with people. So when I made a conscious choice, when people would say, have you guys got children, or why haven't you got children, to say it doesn't come that easy to some. Usually that stops them. And if they're willing to have a conversation, we would have a conversation about it. But basically, just to let people know that, we just made a comment, something about we have been trying, it doesn't always come that easy, and just something like that, to let them know that we've heard what they're saying, and make them aware of those sort of comments you just throw away and ask people can actually affect a lot of other people, and people dealing with infertility. Those sorts of things really do hurt. One other thing really helped us was to be really prepared. There are times that are really difficult when you're dealing with infertility. Things like birthdays, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas are really difficult times, and we would plan that they are going to be difficult times, and we would make sure that something on that day, we made sure that we had something planned. We let our family know Christmas just gone, so that was our 3rd Christmas with no children since starting to try. We had let people know that we would be there, and we would be there as long as we could, and we did have to leave. I had had enough by about midnight, and we'd let his parents know beforehand that if we were finding it difficult, we would just sneak away, so we'd set systems in place to let people know. Some of my friends that are dealing with infertility, they couldn't handle going to things like baby showers. They found things like that really difficult. My husband and I are both teachers, so we've had to find a way to cope around children, because we're surrounded in our lives with working with children. I also run a babysitting business, so I was around babies all the time, and I chose to keep being around in babies' lives, and that made it a lot easier. I saw it in a positive way, that this is what I will have one day, and to enjoy those times. In fact, my nieces have been a major source of comfort to me in this journey, and reminding me of when it gets really hard, what I want to have, and what I still aspire to have, a family like them. So in fact, I've planned for Mother's Day this year. I was away with my nieces, which I knew would help me and keep preoccupied and not be aware, and I enjoyed the day, taking them, looking after them, taking them out shopping for their Mother's Day present for their mum, and had a different angle on it. I really enjoyed that. One of the other pieces of advice for family members of people dealing with infertility, I've had a lot of friends that sort of say, one of the things that did upset me was when a lot of friends, when they kept information from me, when I'd find out that somebody was pregnant, and they're like, I didn't know how to tell you because we didn't want to hurt your feelings. And I've had to say to a lot of friends, I am happy for you guys, and people that I love, my friends in my lives that I love, I want to rejoice and be just as happy with when they have those news. I can't say that it's not jealousy, isn't the word. I'm happy, and so happy, because I want them to be happy. A little tinge of it reminds you of that you can't have that yet, but majority, I am so happy for them. As opposed to you know, in New Zealand we've had a lot of cases of parents not looking after their child, abuse cases and horrific things. Those are the things that make me angry. Those are the things that make me upset. Strangers or people who can't care for their children, but not my friends. When you have found out you're pregnant, I will be so happy alongside of you, rejoicing in that. So, you know, to people that have loved ones that are dealing with infertility, we don't want to be treated differently. That's when we don't want to be felt sorry for. We just want your support. And one of the best things people can say is just, I don't understand how you feel. When people say to me, you know, if I'm talking about it, or instead of telling a story about, well, don't worry, this friend of mine, just go on a, you know, the pieces of information that I've realised now after so long, people don't know what to say. So they give you an anecdotal story about a friend of theirs who went on the adoption waiting list and then, you know, miraculously fell pregnant, or to go on a holiday and you'll fall pregnant, or, you know, this friend of a friend of a friend tried this and tried that. And, you know, I think at the beginning that was interesting to hear, but once you have a diagnosis and you know what's wrong, it's kind of like you feel like saying, well, that isn't going to happen to me. That story, you know, if I just went and relaxed, that's not going to fix my problem. You know, we're going to be extremely lucky if IVF and all this amazing science in the world can give us a child, but certainly not going on holiday and just relaxing is not going to fix our problem. So I think the best thing that I would like people to say, or to give advice to people, is just to say, that must be really hard. I don't understand what you're going through, but I'm here. I'm here for you, or I'm willing, can I do anything? I'm willing to listen, you know, I'm thinking of you, all those sorts of things. And just, yeah, I realise, you know, we realise that people, and I have learned that you don't know what it's like until you've gone through it. And that's why I want people to talk about infertility more, so it becomes such less of a taboo subject, and we can share these. Once I start talking to people, I find that there is a lot of people that have struggled to have children, but they haven't felt that they could share it, and I think it is something that needs to be talked about, and I wish I had learned a lot more at the beginning, so I didn't suffer through this quite quietly. The other thing I did was bought books off Amazon, or second-hand books about the IVF process, and sort of memoirs more than medical journals about other people going through it, and then I lent them to my mother-in-law, my mother. I asked my mother to tell my father, and so they had an understanding of what it is we're going through, so I don't have to explain it over and over again, and just so that they are aware of some of the what it's going to be like to go through some of the drugs through IVF, and yeah, just how that's going to be. So that's what we did. Yeah, I think, and as a couple, I think one of the conscious decisions that we made was this: infertility isn't our problem. It's not one person's issue or the other's. And even when we talk about infertility, it's our infertility issue. Because as a couple, you know, we've been together 12 years. This is something we're dealing with, and we need each other, and we need the support from each other. And just to keep talking to each other and how we're feeling, and to keep to being open. I think it's such a difficult thing to go through. I think if you're not communicating and talking about your feelings, it would be so difficult. I'm lucky I have an amazing husband, and we are just keeping strong together. I'm a very positive person, so I try not to get hung up on the negativity. I know at the beginning, yeah, I cried every time I got my period, and then, you know, as the process went along, it became easier, if anything, to accept that you weren't going to get pregnant, and now that we're ready to start IVF again, a lot of that hope has come back. So we're in a really, really exciting place, and we look forward to starting the birth control pill in a couple of weeks. So I'll be posting up videos just on our thoughts and things to help other people coping with infertility and ready to start IVF. So baby dust to you all, and I look forward to following all your journeys. See ya!